All right, it seems to me a very great compliment to you that President Obama would appoint you to the Council of Governors. Tell us about that, what it means to Nevada, and what you're going to be doing in that area.
No, and thank you. It is a big honor that the President would appoint me to the Council of Governors. I want to give you a little background. I mean, since I was elected governor, the military has always been a big priority for me. As governor, I serve as the commander-in-chief of our National Guard, and I have attended deployment ceremonies since I was elected. In fact, yesterday I was at a deployment ceremony up north, and there's a group of 30 men and women that are deploying to Afghanistan on a medvac mission. Probably one of the most meaningful experiences for me as governor was having the privilege and honor of visiting our guardsmen and women in the Middle East. I traveled to Afghanistan, Iraq, and Kuwait and got to see them in person and in theater. And after seeing that, and also as strongly as I feel about the military, I made a personal commitment that I would try to do whatever I could to help our guardsmen and women and get even more involved. So the offshoot of that is that recently I had the privilege of being named as the co-chairman of the Health and Homeland Security Commission for the the National Governors Association, and sought to be appointed to the Council of Governors. The Council of Governors is composed of 10 governors, 5 from each party. We are each have the opportunity to represent our states and also represent all 50 states and our respective National Guards over at the Department of Defense. So I had my first meeting a couple weeks ago. We were over at the Pentagon meeting with the Undersecretary of Defense. Senator Hagel had not been appointed yet. The big issue that we talked about is that there are 3 traditional battlefields: land, air, and sea, and there is now a new one with regard to cyber. And cybersecurity is something that is extremely important to all the states. There have been some breaches nationally. For example, in South Carolina, their computer system had been breached and a lot of personal information had been released. So as governors, we have decided and agreed and discussed that it's important to get our National Guard involved not only in what they're doing in their traditional mission, but also with regard to cyber security. And we also want to ensure that the interface between the National Guards amongst the states and the Department of Defense, that when all these budget cuts you talk about, sequestration and such, that it doesn't have an impact on our National Guards because of what they do for our states and going overseas. Here in Nevada, I mean, not only do they serve us and defend us and preserve our freedom, but they're helping fight fires. They're helping to secure homes when there's some type of an emergency. Recently, in the flooding here in Clark County, they were involved in terms of helping people out there. So as a member of the Council of Governors, I have an opportunity to ensure that Nevada's interests, as well as all the Guard interests, are represented in a strong way.
I want to ask you a question that's a little off the subject. Talk about your relationship with higher education, because Dan Kleitch is one of my favorite people, very bright, a man of absolute integrity, and I'm so pleased to hear you talk about your relationship with him.
Yeah, no, and I've known Dan for many years, and it's interesting. I was looking at my diploma from the University of Nevada, Reno, from UNR, and Dan was the chairman of the Board of Regents at the time, and he actually signed my diploma. I'm not trying to date him, but
he was a youngster.
Yeah. But he's somebody that I've known and respected for many years, and we worked very closely together during my first session as governor. It was a tough session. I mean, I know you can appreciate that, but as we talked about previously, it was important that the higher education system be intimately involved in economic development in the state, and also be intimately involved and work very closely with my cabinet. So for the first time that I'm aware of in the history of the state, I made the chancellor of the university system a member of my cabinet, and to Dan's credit, he attends every single meeting. We also ensured that it was written into law that the chancellor of the university system would be an ex officio member of the Governor's Board of Economic Development, so that as we talk about all these different things, one of the questions that come up when these companies come to the state is, I'm going to need a trained and educated workforce, that we can go to Dan and talk about UNLV, UNR, CSN, TMCC, Great Basin College, Western Nevada College, all the different places, so that they can build these curriculums to ensure that we have these career-ready and college-ready graduates that can step right into the workforce.
Well, I have to tell you that there's no better person for you to partner with than Dan Clage.
You know, and I think the world of Dan, and as I said, I pointed him out at the State of the State because I personally wanted to thank him for his commitment to the state and his commitment to higher education.
Thank you for being here this week.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.